Hello everyone, this is Zummarellakim, the SAP Consultant who reads PMBOK. This series aims to make the PMBOK guide, the Bible of project management, easy to understand and connect it with real-life SAP project cases that I've experienced. Instead of just introducing theory, I want to show how PMBOK's principles and guidelines are applied in real SAP projects and also highlight the limitations and challenges we face in practice. Through this series, I hope you can gain a more friendly understanding of PMBOK and at the same time acquire practical insights that are essential in SAP project management. Last time, we talked about requirement collection. So, once we've gathered customer requirements, what comes next? The next step is organize this requirement into an officially agreed baseline. You might have had this experience while getting ready for work. You pick out a shirt to wear only to find that one of the buttons has fallen off. When you look for a spare, the buttons are all different in size, shape, and color. You hesitate. Should I use this one or that one? But eventually, you know that only a white button matches a white shirt perfectly. In the same way, just as a shirt needs the right button, a project needs the right baseline to proceed properly. And that is the scope baseline. Today's topic is the scope baseline. The PMBOK 6 edition defines the scope baseline as follows. The scope baseline is the approved version of a scope statement work breakdown structure as we know WBS and its associated WBS dictionary that can be changed only through formal change control procedures and is used as a basis for comparison. In simple terms, the scope baseline is the officially approved standard for project scope. The scope baseline is composed of three key documents. First, the scope statement. This document clearly states not only what must be done, but also what will not be done. According to PMBOK, it includes project scope, major deliverables, and exclusions. Second, the work breakdown structures. This is a hierarchical structure that breaks down the work into smaller, manageable tasks. Third, the WBS dictionary. This provides detailed information about each WBS element. For example, for user training, it defines the target audience, completion criteria, responsible person, and deliverables. It clarifies the condition that must be met before the task can be considered complete. All three must come together to form a true baseline. After approval, no one can change it arbitrarily. If a change is necessary, it must go through the formal process, submit a change request, get it reviewed by the change control board, and only then can it be reflected in the baseline. The scope baseline is both a safeguard against uncontrolled changes and the standard for comparison. So far, we've seen what the PMBOK says about the scope baseline. It sounds clear in theory, right? But in reality, things get messy. In SAP project, scope issues often appear in unexpected ways. Let's look at some real cases. Case 1. Imagine this. Near the end of the project, a legacy system suddenly appears that was missed earlier. Then someone says, without integrating this system, we can't go live. Without prior analysis, the team is forced to add it, causing delays and overtime. Case 2. The middle of the project, PI staff, IT leads, or module consultant are replaced. The new person questions, why wasn't this included? Suddenly, previous agreements lose their validity. Case 3. During the integration testing, a customer says, We can't go live without an approval function. Please add it. It's hard for the consultant or PM to refuse on the spot. Sometimes the WBS is updated without formal change control. The deadline stays the same, but the workload increases. Classic scope creep. Of course, not all requests are accepted. If the request is too large or disruptive, let's defer to phase 2 or a follow-up project. Ultimately, the decision depends on the scope baseline and change control process. According to PMBOK, here are the key lessons. First, establish the scope baseline early. During the blueprint phase, define what is included and excluded and break it down into deliverables via the WBS. Second, follow the change control process. New requirements must be submitted as change requests with an impact on schedule, cost, and risk analyzed. Approval must be obtained from the change control board. In SAP project, this role is often played by the steering committee or PMO. Third, prepare for stakeholder turnover. As project steps inevitably change, official documentation of the baseline and change history is critical. Consistently communicate that prior agreements remain valid. In short, baseline and change control act as mechanisms to reduce project risk. The PMBOK 6 edition emphasized scope baselines, but in the 7 edition, the perspective shifted to focus on value and principles. In large-scale ERP projects like SAP implementations, the situation is different. If we focus only on value without a baseline, we risk not going live at all. Therefore, PMI officially recommends a hybrid approach, mixing predictive and adaptive methods. Big picture elements like process scope, interfaces, data migration, legal requirements must be managed predictably with a fixed baseline. And smaller items, reports, forms, UI enhancement, theory apps can be handled with agile or iterative methods. For SAP project, keeping the big picture stable with a baseline while adjusting smaller parts flexibly with agile is the most realistic solution. Today, we explore the PMBOK's definition of the scope baseline along with real SAP project cases. Key takeaways are these. The baseline acts as a safeguard against risk. Without the baseline, the project drifts with customer demands. And chasing only value may prevent achieving the go-live milestone. A hybrid approach in SAP project balances risk and value, providing the most practical path forward. This series has one goal: to reflect on the recurring challenges we face in SAP project and to expand our perspective through project management principles. Through this, I hope all of us can improve our ability to deliver successful projects. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you have scope management issues from your own project experience, please share them in the comment. I refer to them for future videos. This was Zummarellakim, the SAP consultant who is PMBOK. Thank you.